Hello and welcome to TalkSport on Global TV. Here we are, fresh and good to go, because we have a lot happening in the world of sport and we can't wait to give you all the happenings from Nigeria to Africa to the EPL to CAF, looking at the nations, all of the stories making around in the world of sport. Today, I am Anita Patrick, and I won't be doing this alone today. I have Samuel Odi with me, who's going to be my right winger. Samuel, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you so much. It's always great to have sports and to talk sports as we are looking to take tour around the world to touch every part of sports that we can touch.
Every part. Well, it's good to have you, and it's Talk Sports, and we'll tell you all the stories because we have a lineup of stories which will bring your way. Just stay with us. We'll come back after this timeout. Don't go anywhere. The Deaf Super Eagles of Nigeria will on Saturday take on Gambia in the final of the 13th West Africa Deaf Football Championship holding at Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Welcome back from the break. That's to give you a heads up of what we had lined up for you today. But that's to tell you that the Deaf Football Championship is holding right here in Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja. To get to the final, the Deaf Eagles on Wednesday defeated Niger Republic 2-0 in the first semi-final semi-finals, while Gambia trashed Libya 2-0 in the second semi-finals on Thursday. Ironically, both teams played in same Group A during the preliminary rounds, and Nigeria beat Gambia 3-2 during the group stage when they first met. Liberia will face Niger Republic in the third place match today, being Friday, 29th August 2025, ahead of the grand finale on Saturday, 30th August 2025. Nigeria, the defending champion, is seeking her 6th title, having won the trophy 5 times in the past, with the last being in 2024 in Lagos. That's telling you that it's not just the normal football, there's inclusivity in football. That's what's happening there. Well, let's move away from that and tell you other stories. We see CAF set to open bidding for the next 4 AFCON editions. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, is set to open applications for hosting rights of the next 4 editions of the African Cup of Nations, with the 2025 tournament scheduled to be held in Morocco from December 24th to January 18th, and the 2027 edition already awarded to Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. CAF will soon begin receiving bids for the 2029, 2030, 31, 2033, and 2035 competitions. Well, that's it. And the official announcement is expected after the CAF Executive Committee meeting on Saturday. So far, several nations have indicated interest in staging the tournament. Well, Ethiopia, which previously hosted the AFCON in 1962, 1968, and 1976, have expressed strong desire to bring the AFCON back in 2029, as confirmed by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in October 2024. Well, that's it happening. Samuel, you see what's happening right now? That a lot is going around for CAF.
A lot is actually going around for CAF, but let's start from the deaf.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Let's go back to that a little bit. So the fact about inclusivity, and Shehu Diko, the chairman of Sports Commission, has been very vocal.
Exactly.
Since he came into power, saying that everybody is going to be covered. So everybody is unlocked right now. That's okay. We are not going to be excluded. And he's working towards having a Grand Prix in Abuja here. So we are hoping to see that happen. And it's very, very interesting and welcoming to see actions like that coming up. And then looking at the CAF now, negotiations will obviously be ongoing. Ethiopia, years before, they hosted the rights, and then they are looking to see if they will get it again. But Morocco, it's going to be the problem for them now as it stands, because they are looking to host this championship until 2030, as they have looked around. So they are looking at all of this, and then they are making sure and hoping that they will be able to, participate properly on hosting the right. So we'll see how all of this will actually pan out, because basically Nigeria also needs to get in this mix of this conversation about hosting, not just hosting, lower tournaments like arm wrestling that was hosted. We've seen other activities too that have been hosted here in Nigeria, but we are gunning and hoping that bigger tournaments like WAFCON and African Cup of All Nations, all of those grand African tournaments would be hosted in Nigeria too. So we are hoping to see all of that happen. And with the recent facts and saying that Nigeria is hosting other West African tournaments, is pointing towards the right direction. Well, that in the nearest future we'll be able to host. Have
you seen the fact that so far with the administration of Shehu Diko and Olopade, Bukola Olopade, we've seen that a lot of sports economy is coming to play. We've seen a lot of hosting rights coming to Nigeria from Africa to right now. We're hosting international. You know what's happening in Lagos? The badminton classics that's happening. That's to tell you that Nigeria is moving from just seeing sport as just a game. It's going beyond that, and there's a lot of hosting rights, which shows that we're about to learn more and bring more value to sports, even across the state. Don't forget that we have other stories about hosting rights happening here in Nigeria as well.
Yeah, so looking at all of those now, like we have people coming from Canada, US, and literally all over the world, Asia, like every continent is covered, and they're all in Nigeria. So that's exciting. That's a plus. That's a win for the country. So we'll see how this moves on. And then talking about hosting and representing Nigeria, we're moving on talking about the female yellow and greens. Over the past couple of weeks now, the ladies of representing Nigeria on world stages have been making us very proud. Now This other exciting females, talking about the female yellow and greens, have stormed Namibia for the World Cup qualifiers. That's talking about cricket now.
Yeah.
Nigerian senior women cricket team, the female yellow and greens, are scheduled to arrive in Namibia later today ahead of the campaign for the 2026 ICC Women's T20 World Cup African qualifiers, which will run from August to September. The 14 players and their officials departed Nigeria on Thursday night via the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Coach Leke Oyede announced his final 14 players squad as at Monday with Super Bowl bowler Priscilla Adeboye as captain. Other top players in the team include Piti Loki, Salome Sunday, and wicket keeper Sarah Etim, among others. Nigeria is in Group A of the qualifying tournament, where they will face Sierra Leone, host Namibia, and Zimbabwe. Their first game will be against Sierra Leone on Sunday, August the 31st, followed by dates with Namibia on Monday, September the 1st, and Zimbabwe 2 days later. And then, just in case you've forgotten, yes, you're asking questions about these ladies, if they can actually make Nigeria proud. Yes, they can. If you remember last year in 2024, first time ever going to represent Nigeria in the All-African Games in Ghana, first time ever coming back with a bronze medal. That has been the trajectory of these ladies, and then we are expecting to see this trajectory continue, as well as they would make it all through to the world stages, and also, you know, give us something more to smile about. You know,
when you talk about smiling, I'm always excited to smile. I've always been a smiling person, looking at women making us really proud. We've looked at from the Falcons, we've looked at the D Tigress, we've looked at, now we're seeing the cricket. There's a whole lot happening with women in sports. Don't forget, you also have the yesterday where we had the athletes there, Muslim stepping away from that tournament because from all indication it was like to get her prepared for the bigger game ahead of her. So
yes,
it wasn't
which is starting like next month.
You understand? So she had to pull out to ensure that she gets the best, because we want women to keep thriving and doing the best they can do in the world of sports. We wish them all the best there in Namibia, and we hope they come out tough, as every woman is always doing. I'm proud to be a woman anytime, any day. But let's move away from that and tell you what's happening around the National Youth Games in Asaba. Asaba is coming alive today. Arrivals have come in, anticipation are high as the 9th National Youth Games kicks off in Asaba. Anticipation in the building as the 9th edition of the National Youth Games officially begins today, Friday, in Asaba, Delta State. Well, athletes from Kwara State will join contingents from 35 other states, including the Federal Capital Territory, for the ceremonial march past at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, showcasing Nigeria's rich cultural diversity at the opening ceremony. Well, on Thursday, the screening of athletes was conducted at the main bowl of the Stephen Keshi Stadium, where Kwara's athletes were cleared to compete in events such as cycling, ayo, table tennis, para table tennis, squash, fives, handball, tennis, chess, swimming, darts, shooting, Scrabble, badminton, volleyball, para-powerlifting, athletics, para-athletics, and deaf athletes. However, 3 handball players and 1 goalkeeper from Kwara were disqualified during screening process. Also, we have meanwhile competitive events including table tennis, para-table tennis, karate, and weightlifting are scheduled to commence today. Well, all of that's telling you that today is going to be quite an exciting one, Sam.
Yes.
In Asaba. Yeah, yesterday we had Sam Lakpan join us yesterday, and he's there live at Asaba, and he's telling you the spirit is high. A lot of preparations have been put in place, and the National Sports Commission have actually put in a lot of work to see that Asaba this time around the National Youth Games is a whole different. If you look at the lineup of games coming out, it's not just the regular new introduction. Yes. We have chess coming to play. We have Scrabble, and
all of that.
And all of that.
You know, the thing is, Nigeria is diversifying, and then we are exploring lots of options, which is, you know, very, very interesting. And all of this is building towards Olympics.
Exactly.
So, like, the plans that are on ground now, and the not just like some other persons will say policies are good on paper, but we don't get to actualize them. This time around, it's not just good on paper, we are seeing it being actualized, and then those narratives are changing. And it's very, very interesting because, you know, over 6,000 athletes are going to be present. That means, imagine 6,000 athletes being in Asaba. Now, I can imagine the excitement, the energy, and, you know, the networking happening. And, you know, I can just imagine what the future would hold for these athletes when they get to perform. And also, you know, I heard that we have some scouts that are there already, which are looking to offer scholarships to these athletes, as depending on how well they perform. So we're just expecting to see high tenacity, high competitive spirit, and then that Niger spirit is just what I'm expecting to see all through. And definitely we are certain that we're going to see a high stake level of competition.
But you know, across the states we have the likes of Delta, who have always dominated when it comes to athletes and comes to games like this. And then don't forget that we have other states also gearing and saying this time around it's not just going to be about Delta. It's going to be our states. And we have Lagos, we have Kwara herself who have arrived, setting up and saying that this narrative has to change. But can that be possible?
Actually, looking at it now, Delta over the years have proven that we are here, and this is for us. They are the current defending champions of the National Sports Games. So now we are going to see Lagos now are saying like, okay, this time around we want to change the narrative. Kwara, the same thing. Ebonyi, Enugu, everybody is saying the same thing. Even those from Ogun are saying that we too will not go grief for anybody this time around. so that's just the excitement for me, because nobody wants to go down without a fight. You know, and
you need to
Team Delta has been dominating that for the last 2 years.
But that's the exciting thing about sports. You get to win some, you lose some. At the end of the day, you just go back and do your homework and build yourself and ensure that there's a lot of capacity going up for your athletes, because that's where the talent has been discovered. Don't forget, the invited junior athletes are also part of this, and also the discovery of talents. And just like you mentioned, a lot of cash gifts will go in now as well.
You see, you know, if you mention cash gifts, like I smile from cheek to cheek, because money makes the world go around, and I like money. So I'm just hoping to see. I want to have fun, even if I'm not present there. But from the trends and everything that will be happening on social media, I want to like miss the fact that I'm not there.
You want to be there. Maybe we should just send it to Asaba right away.
Please, please.
We'll get to Asaba. But let's tell you that still ahead of this Youth Games, Lagos aims to dominate as Youth Games begins. The 9th edition of the National Sports Youth Games begins today, like we mentioned earlier, Delta State, and it's Friday starting today, obviously, with Team Lagos aiming to set the pace with their 416 athletes contingent. Following the conclusion of the digital registration management process, a total of 6,382 athletes have been confirmed by the National Sports Commission to represent all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory in Asaba. Screening of athletes took place on Thursday with official opening ceremony and the commencement of games billed for today. Some of the events that will start today, like we mentioned earlier, are the table tennis, the weightlifting, the karate, and also the para games, which will come into play. Well, speaking ahead of the opening ceremony, the Director General of the Lagos State Sports Commission, Lekan Fatundo, emphasized the state's readiness to deliver a standout performance to rival perennial champions Delta State and other contenders. Well, we know we talked about it, that Lagos State is saying this time around, well, whether you like it or not, it has to be we making the difference and ensuring that we come back home and make Lagos State proud. It doesn't matter if they've just have been winning for years.
Yes.
It's not your permanent
seat. It's really not their problem.
It's not your permanent seat.
Yeah, it's not your permanent seat.
You can make the difference.
True. Even the presidency is not permanent.
Well, that's what happens to the world of sport. But like we said, I'm looking forward to chess game, because you know, we had the last time when we have Olise come to Olise Rada, the young man who's been pushing so much for chess. Well, I hope to see him come out strongly and do well at this National Youth Games.
Yes, hopefully he gets to, you know, do more than what we used to seeing him doing, and as he gets himself ready for an international competition, which he says will be coming up later in the year. So we'll see how all of this panned out for him, just like we saw in athletics, that Toby Amosun, Favour Ofili, Nathaniel Ezekiel, all of them have been traveling and participating ahead of the World Championship in Tokyo for the next couple of months. So we'll just see how all of this will be like a warm-up process for him ahead of other bigger competitions.
Well, you know, I just look at a lot of time. I look at the fact that it's sports is making a whole lot of difference in a country where we have a lot happening, and one thing that brings everyone together across the globe is sports.
Yes,
sports are, apart from football. Yes, we know football is always
is the bedrock.
The fact that new sports are taking the limelight and making their mark and bringing up the excitement is actually very impressive, and we look forward to more of that. I will look forward to more exciting. Don't forget that swimming is also part of it. But before we take, let's quickly go on this quick, and when we come back, our guest will be joining us to talk to us more on what's happening in Asaba, and also what we should expect as Nigerians ahead of this. Don't go anywhere, stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still Talk Sports on Global TV, and we're still here live. And I have my guest, Chris, who will be joining me right now. Chris Onokweku, who will be speaking to us about what's happening there at the National Youth. Chris, if you can hear me, how are you doing today? Hi, Chris.
I'm fine, but I'm still in Abuja.
Did we plan the uniform, Chris? You're wearing red like me. It's good to see you, Chris.
I'm still in Abuja.
How you doing? Let's talk a bit about what's happening right now with the National Youth Games. I know you should be on your way to Asaba. Of course, you cannot miss that for anything. What's your thought towards the preparedness for the National Youth Games and the likes of Lagos State saying they would not let their guards down ahead of this?
This is not the first time we are hearing this kind of thing. Even Ogun State boasted at the last National Sport Festival. Bayelsa boasted, and we all saw what happened at the last National Sport Festival.
Okay.
The same thing with the youth game. You know, when it comes to youth game, you can't take it away from Delta. I'm not saying this because I'm from Delta, but they know what it takes to lead. And if you check very well, the past athletes that have been representing Nigeria, apart from Amosu, majority of them are from Delta. From Delta, they know how to discover this talent. And good enough, many states are also beginning to follow suit, like Bayelsa. Bayelsa now, they are doing the same thing what Delta is doing. Anyway, for the National Youth Game, I think we all saw what happened in the last one, and we can't expect anything less than that, because we know Delta for what they know how to do. They know how to host events very well, apart from turning out good athletes. So we are not expecting anything less than. Otherwise, some of us will be very disappointed. But I know the Delta that I come from. Ever since. Let
me just allow you land. I'll get you back onto on that.
Do you want us to compare it with your state?
Let's leave the issue of states right now. Let's not talk about it, because you can't even try that with Akwa Ibom. But let's talk about Asaba. Let's talk about Asaba. And the preparedness for this.
We know your strength. We know where you guys are good at. But when it comes to sport, I don't think any state can compete with Delta, whether in an organization or even on the pitch. So I want to believe that this year's National Sports Youth Game is going to be more interesting.
Exactly.
I'll be hearing a report from that end, and I can't wait to be there.
I know. You're looking for the excitement is all over your face. You can't wait to get there and get Deltas to come out. Well, just like you mentioned, we're both in Abeokuta, and we saw what played out for you. What are you expecting in terms of administrative structure put in for welfare for the athletes, and also good coverage of these games across all the different games that we're playing out there today at Asaba from today?
Well, for the youth game, I don't think we should expect anything less. Just like I said earlier, Delta, they hosted it for the past 2 editions. This is the third one.
Yes,
for the youth games, they also hosted the National Sport Festival. So we all saw everything. The only difference between what they hosted and the one in Abeokuta was just the opening and the closing ceremony. Of course, Ogun is all. Everybody knows that they perform beyond excellent. So
yeah.
I think that's what I want Delta to borrow from the last national sport festival. Okay. If they can make the opening ceremony to be more interesting, more digitalized, okay, like what we saw in the last national sport festival. But when it comes to welfare, I bet you nobody can beat Delta to it. They know how to take care of their guests.
They are good hosts.
I'm from that state. We know how to take care of guests. But we might not.
I know you're from Delta State. Stop throwing in our face. We know you're from Delta State. Well,
what I'm saying is that we know how to take care of guests.
Yes. Go ahead.
We know how to take care of people. We know how to take care of people. We can do it at our own expense as Deltans. We know how to take care of people. But I can't say of taking care of ourselves. But when it comes to people coming to visit, we know how to take care of them so that they will have a very memorable story to tell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
so I can assure you of welfare.
Okay.
The athletes, the officials, the journalists, and every other person that is coming, spectators, I want to assure them that they are going to enjoy the stay in Delta State.
Chris, it's like we're going to give you the National Sports Commission for Delta State because you're conversing so much about the hosting rights, and I'm
talking from experience.
No, I know, of course, your experience, and we know you're well knowledgeable about this. That's why we have you speaking to us about what Delta should be showing to the world here at the National Youth Games. Well, this is the third edition, and like you said, nothing less. We should expect more advancements and more improvements to the previous hosting rights they have had for the National Youth Games. And we look forward to you giving us more tidbits on what's happening there, because I see the excitement on your face that you can't wait to get your feet in Delta today in Asaba. And we wish you a safe trip down there, and we look forward to hearing from you, keeping us up to speed with what's happening in the National Youth Games.
There's no problem, but before I leave, I want to also use this opportunity to commend the Kano State government. You know, okay. I wrote a piece when I came back from Abeokuta during the last National Sport Festival. You know, the contingent, they had an accident, yeah, and they lost so many lives. So I wrote an article that there is need for state to convey the athletes to venue through air so that people will not be traveling long distance. I want to believe that the driver that drove the vehicle all the way from Ogun State to Kano State, I've driven from Lagos to Abuja. I know what it takes. I know how tiring it could be, especially when you are getting close to your destination. So I want to believe it was the same thing that happened to that driver. He was so tired. You know, as a civil servant, he doesn't drive long distance like his colleagues that drive a trailer and heavy duty vehicle. He is just a civil servant that is not used to traveling every now and then. So I want to believe it was because of that they had that accident. So I wrote a piece that there is need for state government, especially those that are traveling long distance, to convey their athletes by air, and they actually listened, and I want to commend them for that. And also I want other states to also borrow a leaf from that. They should treat the athletes well. It is not until they win medals before you start treating them well. Look at the Super Falcons. It was because they won. When these guys were preparing for the AFCON, nobody came to their rescue. Nobody came to support them. But because they won the trophy, the people are now coming to give them money from everywhere. It is not supposed to be. They should start by supporting these teams right from the word go. So I think other states should also borrow a leaf. And I also noticed that some states, they don't even prepare their teams. It is 2 weeks, 1 week to the competition. They will start assembling athletes, and I think it's not good for us. If they really want to take crime out of their states, then they should start investing in the youth.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Chris, for bringing that up. Well, I remember we had that conversation where we talked about welfare and proper care and proper preparedness ahead of games, and that piece actually went a long way because we all talked about this. It was really heartbreaking to see that on that sad event that happened with the Kano State contingent, because we're all there and we had a wonderful outing only for at the return, and they had that kind of terrible incidents. Well, thank you to the Kano State government, like you said, that have listened to the voice of the people to see that athletes are well taken care of, athletes are given the best of the hand, because safety is paramount. If your athletes are safe, high performance also ahead of preparedness, if you're well prepared, gives you the best outing at every competition the athletes goes out to compete for.
Yes, then we have other states like Sokoto. They are coming from very far places.
True.
Zamfara. In fact, the last National Sport Festival, one particular state came late. It shows that they are not interested in the development of their youth, because all youths cannot go to school. Some will do sports. Some will be. Some are very good in sports. Some are very good in other area, academics and all those stuff. So those ones that are doing sports, it is better for us to encourage them. The Holy Book says the idle's mind is the devil's workshop. If you don't make use of these young ones now, of course they will use their energy for negative things, and that is why I want to encourage every state government to always invest in the youth. We are meant to understand that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but the way things are going, we are not investing in our youth. Have you found out why that we don't have riots, we don't have armed robbery in other developed countries? The reason is because these people invest so much on their youth. Even if they don't have a job, they give them stipends for them to be happy. They make sure that they have food on their table. So I think our government, especially from the state level, should start investing in the youth. And now they have an opportunity for youths to be discovered. I want to advise also that when these ones are discovered, they should not just let them to rot away. They should nurture them to stardom. Because in the nearest future, this ones will bring glory to their state, and that particular governor that we invest in such person will not be forgotten like that. His name will always be mentioned till tomorrow. As we speak now, we are still speaking about James Onanefe Ibori, because he was the one that revived sport in Delta. Until today, Delta is still dominating. And every other governor that followed him have been following that blueprint. And you can see the result today. So I want to encourage other states, Edo especially. Edo State used to compete with Delta, but today they are nowhere to be found. The same thing with Lagos. They are nowhere to be found. I discovered one thing also, that before anytime there is a sport festival, that is when the host will prepare very well. Look at what happened at the last National Sport Festival. Ogun State competing with the likes of Bayelsa and Delta. Almost even they came second. But I told somebody, I said, after this sport festival, you won't see Ogun State anywhere near the medal table again, because since they are not the one hosting, they won't invest money in the youth, which is not supposed to be.
Line of thought from your end, telling us, talking to the administrators and the state governments as well, to see how they can bring out, because I remember in Ogun also had talking about states having hosting rights to put out good talents of the young ones, bringing them up with building their capacity so that they can toe to the part of engaging themselves and take out the restiveness in youth. But the good thing about it is that it's been going on. A lot of advocacy have been going out for youth to be involved, to be carried around in the world of sports, because sports is actually doing well for the young minds and other things which are bringing up the narrative for young people. Thank you so much, Chris, for being a part of Talk Sports on Global TV with us this morning. Like we said earlier, we wish you a safe ride back to Asaba. And please, we know you can host us, but when you come back, we'll talk about that. All right, please have a lovely day. All right, we'll talk to you more. Well, that was Chris who spoke to us extended. You could feel a lot of passion, Samuel.
Yes, lots and lots of passion from Chris over there, and also being particular about his states. We'll have conversations about states some other time. So moving on, like we rightly mentioned earlier, we're going to be taking around the globe to talk sports today. And just in case you don't know, Fenerbahce lost their game yesterday, and it came with something really, really shocking as Fenerbahce sacks Jose Mourinho. This is one of the top coaches in the world that has been sacked by this team. Let me bring you up to speed with the story that says Turkish League team Fenerbahce has parted ways with Jose Mourinho after failing to qualify for the Champions League phase. Mourinho's side were beaten 1-0 by Benfica on Wednesday night in their playoff tie. In a statement released on social media, the club said, "We thank him for his effort for our team until today, and we wish him success in the future, in his future career." The former Chelsea, Manchester United, and Tottenham manager is second high-profile manager in Turkey to get sacked in the last day after Ole Gunnar was sacked by Betis less than 1 hour after he failed to qualify for the Conference League. That means Mourinho tried now. He's on his Champions League.
Oh my God. Mourinho tried. Well, Mourinho has been one high-profile coach, like you mentioned. And I remember his days in Chelsea where he had a tough one going for him. But he's one man I love so much in the coaching career. He's done his bit. He has his own style, which people might not embrace and not want to reckon with. But
some person says he's arrogant because he calls himself the special one.
He's a special one in his own way. That's why I said he has his own way of coaching. He has his own style. He might not work for you. Fenerbahce had said they thank him because, of course, he brought his impact to that particular game. And just because he couldn't get them qualified for the Conference League doesn't mean he's not a good coach. He's a high-profile coach. It's just that probably he's not meeting up with the standard, or he's not giving them the required results that they expect at this point, because it has to go beyond just a professionalism. It has to be results-oriented. That's what every winning team is looking forward to.
Actually, looking at it now, that means, well, you're wearing red. I don't know if you're a Manchester United fan, but for now, let's because I think other coach that needs to be sacked as fast as Mourinho got sacked is Ruben Amorim. Because I'm a concerned Chelsea fan because my friends are Manchester United fans. Like, they just keep losing weight on a daily basis, and I'm just wondering. And if you ask them what is the problem, they will say Ruben Amorim. So I think he's the next person that needs to be sacked. So as people will enjoy this EPL season. So looking at it now, the Champions League is here. The draws happened yesterday, and Chelsea were drawn up in a very, very strong and very tight group. But I understand, when you are the world champion, they'll always come for you.
Can we just let
when you are the world champion, they'll always come for you, but it's nothing. Not small, so we could chop them. We will chop all of them just like small chops. But looking at it now, but looking at it as it stands, Mourinho has actually been with Fenerbahce for, I think, 3 seasons now, and he has revived the team. But now, like our boss will always say, reward for hard work is more work. So that's the situation that, Mourinho found himself. And then they are moving. There's a trend. They are moving. Like, you need to give us that result. If you're not bringing that result that we require, even if you've done it before, we are going to move on and then drop you. So let's see who Fenerbahce now want to come, manage the team and see how you will take the team further from where Mourinho left it.
Well, like I said, Mourinho has his own style. Maybe it didn't work out for him. He has done well for them. He has put in his best. But if it's time for him to move on, why not? I like him, the fact that he's always confident with himself. He's always confident with his tactics of play and how he brings out the best of himself and out of his players. Well, it's good luck to him. Wish him all the best in his coaching career and see what the next bus stop he would be highlighting too. Yeah,
so since individuals are being moved based on the fact that they want to move, and some are being moved based on transfer basis because the transfer window will be shutting up by 11:59 Sunday, which obviously automatically 1st of September, which will be on Monday, the transfer windows will be shut down. But still, the window is still very much open for a whole lot of, transfer talks. And then we have one Genk forward talking about Aroko Dari, who is a Nigerian, and he was around when we were playing the qualifying games, and hopefully he would be coming back too, because we really need them for the games that will be played in September. So he is making a move, and his manager, coach at Genk, has confirmed that Aroko Dari is close to move to Wolves. That's talking about him coming to the EPL. Genk manager Trent Links has revealed that season behind the decision of Aroko Tolu Dari is set to leave the squad by Thursday night. So we're going to follow up and then bring you more updates to confirm. We're seeing some information somewhere, but it's not confirmed yet. If he has
actually moving.
Yeah, if he has actually made that final move. We saw conversations going around. Christus Uchetu, who is also a Nigerian who plays for Getafe. Wolves are also making moves to get him, who is a very good creative midfielder. Aroko Dari is a very good striker who scored 21 goals for his club side in their Genk championship, in European Championship, and also we saw the trajectory of how crucial he was for Nigeria. So when they were playing, the qualifying game. So we'll see how all of this pans out as the window is shutting down slowly. But looking at ahead of World Cup qualifiers now, we have two very crucial games.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from Eric Charlie as these games are drawing closer and closer?
Well, Nigeria, the Super Eagles have been going through a whole lot right now. There's a lot of weight on the team, a lot of weight on the technical team as well, to see how they can change the narrative. Don't forget they have the game coming up in Uyo, where they will be playing their games, and a lot of attention is raised, asking what can change with the Super Eagles. And a lot of talk has said is not just about the coach, it's about the team telling themselves it's time to change this narrative and bring the cup back to Nigeria. We've seen how they struggled in their matches, and where we've seen them also, even in their field of play, it needs to change. A whole lot has to move around it, and we hope that the Super Eagles will, because other countries are not letting on their own. They are putting up a lot of work to see, although we still have them seen, some people still see them as threats. The Super Eagles are still seen as threats to some countries, but the truth is, nobody is going to just stay there, but they have to fight for this right and bring the World Cup back to their countries.
Yes, they actually have to fight, because we have two very crucial games to play. Yeah. One is South Africa, one is Zimbabwe.
And they're not resting.
They are not resting. These, whenever these other African countries get to hear the word nine, they don't even get to wait if it's Nigeria or not. Everybody comes out with strong, because they know that Nigerians have this resilient spirit, and they will always want to go all out. So whenever they are coming to play against the Super Eagles, whether male or female, like if they are competing against any Nigerian, whether on the track and field, arm wrestling, really they come out with a different mindset that these Nigerians always dominate. Let's try and bring them down. And the funny thing is, even if you try, sometimes they get to be successful in, having a laugh against the Nigerians, but most times it doesn't work out. But looking at it now, it's very, very crucial, because these last two games is very important. Now, we saw what happened in Chan. Yeah. A lot of persons are blaming the coach and the tactics and everything.
It's not about the coach.
It's not. Thank you. It's not
always about the coach,
because these are home-based players. Yes. I think you should be more hungry to prove a point.
Don't forget that Nigeria defeated Rwanda 2-1 in the match day 5 encounter in Kigali in March.
Yes.
And so that it doesn't mean that he didn't do well. He did well, of course, coaching, giving his status and all that. And don't forget that the highly anticipated encounter will kick off at 5 p.m. Nigerian time ahead of this match, which is going to happen in Uyo, and that's coming up. With the match day 7 encounter, which will hold at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Uyo there. So a lot has been put. The coach is also putting out his best. It is one thing to coach, and that thing for the players to also make up their mind to say,
yes, we want to play.
Let's also play, because it is you're doing it for us. It's not just about that mindset that it has to be the coach. He will give you his tactics. You've been playing for different club sides, and you're doing well at your club. So those of that don't have playing time, but it doesn't mean that you don't understand this game. You understand the game. I used to ask, is it about the passion right now, or is it about the welfare? Because the narrative is that gradually adjusting with the welfare.
Yes, because welfare is getting better now. It's getting
so
better.
I'm just hoping that they change that narrative concerning the Super Eagles each time they go for their own games. But this is the World Cup, and the narrative needs to change. The fixture has been put in for Nigeria and Rwanda, so you know. So we also have the football governing board FIFA who had named Chaldian Aldi Momat as the center referee for the 2020s between the match of Nigeria and Rwanda, and a lot of eyes are being raised to say, how is this going to pan out? I hope it's going to allow these people to play freely.
You know, hopefully, like, I think another thing that would happen now is for the NFF to just like leave Eric to like, okay, go ahead and do whatever plan, you know, do you. You know, we are not going to interfere. Just do you. Invite whoever you want to invite. Use whatever tactics you want to use. But make sure you give us the results. Because Nigerians now, our fans are complaining already and saying, this man needs to leave. This man needs to leave. Because I can't imagine us, like, you know, participating in CHAN and not even scoring goals when we need to score them.
No,
we scored them when they are literally very, very useless.
You know, someone was having a conversation with me. He said, when you see the Eagles play in the first, let's say the first 30 minutes of their ball fill up, let's say 20 minutes. You see them all excited, go for the ball. But the minutes they get to score, they relax.
Which you don't take your foot off the gas.
You don't relax. You should be hungry and hunt for more goals. Keep going, and let's see that winning ticket gets to you first. But so we need to see how all of that can change for the Super Eagles. Sincerely, a lot of concerns have really been raised about the Super Eagles playing time. Which is actually not the good way for those Super Eagles being the senior team.
Yes, and again, there are other options of like younger players who are doing amazingly well for, you know, their club side in Europe and the EPL. So I think it's going to be, and that are eligible, that haven't played in England. Maybe they might have featured in, we have a couple of them that have featured in the under 21 England team and under 21 Italian teams. But still, they are still very much eligible to play for the Super Eagles. I think Eric and then the NFF should reach out to all of these young talents early enough. That's another thing, is if they would want to play for Nigeria. But the welfare and all of that is changing, because most of the times if you get to have a conversation with all of these players, they will say, I wouldn't want to come and play for Nigeria, get injured, and then my club side will come and taking care of me. You know, stuffs like that. So hopefully we are seeing involvement, we are seeing development, we're seeing infrastructure development, and also seeing athletes and players being taken care of properly. So we just hope to see, you know, this trajectory continues like this as time is beginning to tell us to wind up.
But that's it. What can we do? Don't forget also we have the likes of our warning set for Nottingham Forest exit. So he should have time with that, because if he's set for the out of the favour at Nottingham Forest, Super Eagles striker Taiwo Awoniyi is attracting interest from the Bundle side. Wenger Brendan, according to the German outlets, what they're saying, that he's pursuing a season-long loan deal with no permanent transfer currently planned. So if they are getting this kind of offers, it should speak for them to.
Actually, I know why he's leaving the EPL. Awoniyi suffered lots of injuries. I think he had 2 ACLs. That's the same issue to Victor Boniface is having. He had 2 ACLs, and also that's the reason why he's moved to AC Milan on loan, and with a clause of a buy option at the end of the season. Didn't work out. So for Awoniyi, also trying to move out to, you know, from Nottingham Forest, which is a very strong side that are trying to contend for the EPL this season. We will see how well all of this would, you know, pan out for all of these guys, and just hope that they stay healthy, because injury concerns now are just the problem. And then looking at their past medical history now, I think that's what Victor Boniface is currently suffering now. And the Nigerians, it has nothing to do with him being on social media, so we should just leave that narrative. It totally has nothing. Like the social media space, I think for Victor Boniface, I think is a place where he just comes to unwind and, you know, goes with the vibe. Okay, I'm a human being. As much as I play football, let me just do what every other young person is doing, because for crying out loud, you know, on paper they say he's only 24 years of age. So let's see how let's just allow him, you know, be a Gen Z that he is.
Oh, really? It's one about being a Gen Z, same thing, focusing on your career path. Because if you don't take that part serious, it's going to affect you in the long run. You need to put your thoughts together, choose the side you want, choose what you want to do with yourself. Yes, he's had his own challenges. Every career path has his own challenge that comes with it. But it is putting your thoughts together and putting your mind to say, I am set to get this narrative change. I'm set to get out there and be the best I could be. for myself. Don't forget how the other younger ones have actually built their career. It's not about the age, and that thing about knowing where you're going to and how you need to prepare yourself ahead of that phase of your life, where you're going to. Well, it's been a lot here on TalkSport Global TV, and like we told you, we had lots of it, and we thank God we were able to bring to you all of those activities happening in the world of sport. We're keeping our eyes high up to the deaf games, which will be happening, the deaf football tournament, and also the cricket, which for the female who have gone to Namibia to catch up with that game. And we're also telling you what will be happening at the youth games there in Asaba, which is kicking off live today. Don't forget the International Badminton Classics is happening there in Lagos. All of this happening in the world of sports, and we'll tell you all of the stories as you keep your tab with us. Don't forget, we're still here, always bringing you all the sporting activities happening. Don't forget, CAF is also opening bidding for the next 4 AFCON edition, and a lot of bidding is going out for that particular edition. All of the stories making on. There's always sports. It's always sport. There's always something happening in the world of sports. And then the next month, or in the next couple of hours now, the World Championship in Tokyo will kickstart, where individuals from around the world will be jetting off, and we have the likes of Favour Ofili and Tobi Amosun, Nathaniel Bassi, and all of them has clinched automatic tickets. So they're all set to take the jet off and again make Nigeria proud. Most of these individuals, as we mentioned, are looking to have a medal podium finish in the competition. Well, that's it. That's all we'll have for you on TalkSport today. Until we come your way next time, we'll just bring you all of these happenings and give you all the exciting news that will come with the winning teams. Yes, with the winning teams, of course. Well, I am Anita, but don't forget that Global TalkSport can always catch up with us on all our social media platforms. There you have it on the screen at Global TV NG, and also we're always on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times 276. You can always catch up with us and get all the exciting stories in the world of sports. I am Anita Patrick, and Sam. I'm Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining us on today's edition of TalkSport. See you next time.